Ooh, all right, guys, what's going on? Welcome back to the Extra Innings Podcast. I'm your host, Elijah Rodriguez. Man, ooh, it's been a weekend. It's been pretty kind of crazy weather down here in San Antonio. We had this weird cold front come through, and it was like 90 degrees yesterday. Now it's like 50. It's Texas, I guess. But yeah, so we didn't put out an episode yesterday. Yesterday was Saturday. I've been kind of trying to do these day of. I think that, like I said, there's no real structure to this. Like, I'm just like, if I have content, if I have something to talk about, I'm going to do it. So there may be Saturday episodes in the future. I don't know, but figured I came on here today. I had something I found. Actually, found it a couple days ago. I've been like stewing on it a little bit, and it's like this. I guess it's like this trend on Instagram, or like I guess on socials. It's like those, like they where they stitch them together. Like it's like the same thing that people are using over and over and over again. It's like a template or a step, whatever you call that. I'm good at social media, but some of this like micro stuff, like trends, I'm not good at. And a lot of times it's not even sports related, so it doesn't even matter. But yeah, so I saw this thing and it made me laugh because it said, and I'm sure some of you have probably seen this. Let me pull it up here because I don't want to butcher this, what it says. Because it floored me. And it kind of got me on the topic. And just before I get to it, the topic of what we're going to talk about today is travel sports, specifically travel baseball, because it has drastically changed. I mean, I'm 20, I'm 28. I turn 29 next Wednesday. I'm 28. I started playing select baseball when I was 10 years old, and the game from when I was playing and how I remember it to talking to kids now and how they're doing it, the game is so much different. And it's we're going to get into it. We're going to get into it. Um and there's a couple different pieces to this on top of like how much select and travel ball has changed. The main topic I wanted to talk about today, and I'm sorry I'm taking forever to find this, is here it is. Travel sports are destroying American families. And this isn't specific to baseball. And shout out to Prospect Dugout because they shared a really, really awesome video kind of like going against this quote that's going around. Because it is all sports. It's not specific to baseball. Obviously, there's a lot of baseball stuff in his video here on the Prospect Dugout version of it. But I've heard a lot of people talking about how taxing it is, how hard it is, and everything in between with travel sports. And the funny thing is, so you look at the trend of this travel sports is killing American families. I think that that's so dramatic. Um, but it depends because it can be bad, it can be good. I think it's how you do it, right? So like, I kind of go back to how, my days of select baseball and like travel ball and all that. And I mean, I had a great time. I'm gonna be honest. Like some of those years of me playing travel baseball were some of the best years of my life. I mean, I had some of the best times, memories that will stick with me forever. Friends that I've met that you maybe lost contact with. Maybe I'm still in contact with somebody I played with when I was like 14, 15 years old. Someone I was younger, not really. I mean, we kind of, you go your separate ways, you go different teams. You're not a really, you play on the same team, but like you may have some stuff in common, but like you're not like really that tight. I've got guys like that you run into your acquaintances. Hey, what's going on? Blah blah. But still, memories that you have that you held with these people that you played in your entire life. It's like a formula of your childhood. So I had a great time. I mean, I'm sure some kids don't have the best time but it's the environment that they're put into. I think that there's like a lot that goes into it that can make it a good experience or a bad experience. I've seen it, and the funny thing is that I've seen the extremes from both sides. Got that C4 today. We're not rocking coffee. It's Sunday morning. We get some C4 on Sundays, but I've seen guys on both sides. I've seen really really toxic, horrible, you know, environments for players. And the funny thing is, like, it's never actually the kids. It's never the kids. No, it's never the kids because the kids are there to do one thing. They're there to play baseball, and for most times, it's there to play baseball with their friends. And like, it's always the parents that have to ruin certain things. It's always the parents that are causing more and more issues amongst the kids. Because every bad experience that I've seen that I've had, in travel baseball has been because of the parents. But we'll get into that. My point is this whole thing with, travel sports killing American families. Like, I didn't see it that way, and a lot of other people I've talked to a lot of other kids, especially kids that are playing now and their parents, because I did coach. This is the first year I didn't coach, um, youth baseball for like middle schoolers, 6th to 8th grade. I didn't coach this year, but the last 4 years I'd been coaching, and I've talked to kids that play travel ball and stuff like that, and how much it's changed. And the the thing is, like I said, it's how you do it, right? Like if you're putting a kid through, like he's playing year round, one sport only, year round. He's 8 years old, 9 years old, 10 years old. Like, yeah, that's probably not going to be a healthy experience because you're playing year round and absolutely taxing this kid, right? That's probably not a good idea. For me, like, you don't take vacations. They're not doing anything else. They're not going anywhere. They're playing baseball. They're going to school, probably practicing personal lessons, all that into one. You know, it's not really going to be a healthy experience. Like for me and like my team when I grew up playing, I was fortunate. I didn't really do a lot of team hopping. I wasn't like the guy who's like, I was all over the place. I had one team that I played with pretty much my entire career. I think I played in my span, and like I know it's crazy because there's kids that'll play like in their span of like 10 to 16 years old. They played on like 40 different teams, 20 different teams because they just team hop on where they're going to get the best playing time, where their kid's going to bat 3 hole, where they're going to get the most time on the mound, whatever, what have you. They're always searching for that perfect spot for their kid. I didn't really have that issue. I mean, my parents, found some really good coaches. I had a great group of dads who, and that's the other thing. It's like dads who coach. It's not always a bad thing. It can be a bad thing. I've seen it. Like I said, guys, I've seen it both ways. I've seen dads who treat their kid just like they're any other player on the team, and they're phenomenal coaches and great mentors. And I've seen dads who are very much biased, and it's fucking terrible. But like I had my dad and a couple of my friends' dads when I was growing up. They had the self awareness, which is a great thing, and this is what a lot of people I wish. Obviously, you can't teach self awareness; something that has to come from within. I get that, but we had a group of dads who coached us up until a certain point where they were like, "Yeah, I'd really like our kids to go play more, play further, learn more in this game. They've got talent. They've been playing together for years. What's the next step?" They went out and found a coach who was willing to coach us. Obviously, they're going to pay him. They're going to start this organization. But the point is that they have the self awareness to be like, hey, we've taught them all that we can teach. Like daddy ball is done. Like I don't. They're 12 years old, 13 years old. It's going to start getting serious here pretty quick. I don't know anymore. One was a doctor, one was an athletic director, and one was an engineer. So it's like, yeah, guys, we're not pro baseball players. We don't know what we're doing here. We can give you the basics, but there's no more we can really teach you. We need to go find somebody else. And at that point, it didn't become daddy ball anymore. It was, we're going to get a coach. We're going to start all this stuff. We're going to get a couple coaches. We're going to start an organization, yada, yada, yada. The organization started, and I was lucky enough to play with that organization my entire life, which was with a core group of guys. Yeah, you had guys leave here and there, and some guys weren't happy with the playing time. Some guys, maybe had a family friend coaching over here. Hey, we're going to go play over here. So yeah, we had changes in and out, but we had the same core group of guys, which was really great because that group lasted, all the way through till we were 18, and then we could win our different ways. At 18, it's like you play all the way through 18, and then after that, it's like if you're going to play college, you're going to play college. And a lot of guys didn't love it as much as they thought they loved it, and the game ends. So that's the point I'm trying to make, guys. I was lucky enough to where I didn't do a lot of team hopping, but into that, still kind of going into that, thing with it's killing American families. Like when we traveled and we played, I think it was a little bit much at times. I think it was a lot. I think at the beginning, especially like we were practicing both Saturday and Sundays, playing Saturday, Sundays, having like a once a week practice or hitting practice or something like that. So we did a lot of practice and playing. But the good thing, and this is things that I tell people all the time, is like, yo, we like my family. I'm talking from my family only. Like I remember there was times where we'd go to tournaments and we would sometimes like make something out of it as a family. Like we would go do stuff. Like you're out of town, maybe you go up a day early and you go do something, and then you play Saturday, Sunday. Like I remember we went to, like my the organization we played for made it a point to, like, if we're gonna go somewhere like out of state, if we're gonna go somewhere big, like we're gonna do something else. There's gonna be a bigger purpose than us just there to play baseball. Let's go home. There to play baseball. Let's go home. Like And I think like my group of guys, like I said, I didn't have a whole lot of toxic issues at the time. I mean, there was a couple toxic parents that came in and out, and even as a kid, you can see it, just bad energy. And normally that rubs off on the kid. But, like for the most part, a lot of the times, like a lot of the families were on the same page. And maybe it was just a different time period. Maybe parents wanted their kids to be more well-rounded. Now kids are baseball specialists at 8 years old. Like a lot of guys I had, we were still playing football. A lot of guys are still playing other sports, basketball. Like I was a multi-sport athlete all the way through till high school. I played all kinds of sports. But like a lot of kids nowadays, they're not. I'm a baseball player. I'm a baseball player, and I'm gonna go to the bigs. And I'm like, dude, you're fucking 9 years old. You don't know what you're gonna do. Like you could go to science class tomorrow and find something that just opens your entire world. And baseball is an afterthought. You don't know. You don't know. You're 9 years old, bro. So like we made it a point. Going back to this, we made it a point that like when we went to tournaments in Omaha, but we made sure that if we were like, well, we're gonna go to Omaha. Like we're gonna go to Nebraska. We're gonna go all the way from San Antonio to Nebraska. Let's make something out of it. We're gonna be there for a week. Let's go to the College World Series. Let's go to all the events. Let's do all this stuff. Let's go tour Rosenblatt. Like we did all kinds of stuff. I get it. Fortunate. I was very fortunate to do stuff like that. It's basically a family vacation. My whole family went. A lot of other people's whole family went. We went to play in California. Multiple times. We played in Florida, and it's always like, hey, we're gonna go do something else. Like, hey, we're here for this tournament. Awesome. We'll make sure that we're there for all those events, for all these big tournaments, these big events. We'll be there for that. But at the same time, these kids need to experience like something else while they're here. Like we're in California, we're 30 minutes from Disneyland. We're taking these fucking kids to Disneyland and Universal Studios. Like we're gonna do that because like why wouldn't you? And I think that that's a beautiful thing. Like hey, I got to go travel. I played baseball. It was a family vacation. It was a fucking hell. So it was me as a kid. I look back on those memories and I'm like, wow, like that was so much fun. Going to Disneyland and Universal Studios with my friends, like my really close friends at the time. Like we're gonna experience this together. It's a good time. We're playing baseball. We're going to Angels games. We're in California. We're at Omaha. Hey, we're gonna play today. Okay, we played our games. Now we're gonna go to the 7 o'clock game tonight between Florida State and whoever they're playing. Like it was a fucking blast. My times in select were awesome, but I have no like memories of bad things of like hey my team, but so I say that I was very fortunate. On the flip side, there was one moment in particular that sticks out in my head. Like that was just like I said, sometimes it's the parents. The parents are the fucking problem when it comes to a lot of this stuff. And I'm not blaming. I'm not saying like oh my god, parents are fucking awful because it's not true. But there are the ones that don't know when to fucking relax. So there was this one time we were playing over at it was in San Antonio. Well, in Helotes, which Helotes is an outer outskirts of San Antonio. We were playing at this place called Prospect Park, and I remember we're playing. No, we weren't playing. We had a big gap. It was a Sunday, so it was tournament play. Like we're not. It wasn't seeding. It was Sunday. We're playing for everything. You lose, you go home type deal. Normally, you get two seeding games on Saturday, and you play till you lose on Sunday. That's normally the rank. That's how it goes for the most part, right? So, I remember we had a long overlay. We played early, and then we didn't have another game till like 4. It was weird. We played at like 9 a.m. Games were like an hour 50, and then depending we win, you lose, you win, whatever. How the seating went, we didn't have to be back till like 4 o'clock, right? So I go to my buddy's house. We're there for a couple hours. His parents took us to eat, and we hung out. Whatever, stayed in cool because it's summer. You stay inside, and don't tax yourself too much. And then we get back to the field, and there was only 4 field. There was a field in the back, 2 fields in the back, and then there's like a trail, and then there's like a main complex of 3 fields and like a little league field, right? So in that 3 field complex when I was like 13, 14, does like the bigger fields, right? So my brother was probably playing on the other fields and I was playing, right? So we come back. It's about an hour and a half before the game's supposed to start. And we get in, and all the guys we're just kind of talking. We're behind one of the dugouts, and all of a sudden in the center field there's a parking lot. We had got there, and there was like a scuffle between a parent and an umpire, a call. I don't remember the specifics, but I remember we're standing back there, and my coach was like, "Everybody get down." Behind the dugout, slate, because the dugouts were big metal tins, right? So he's like, "Everybody get down, everybody get down," and all the parents were like freaking out, and everyone stopped. All fields stopped, they had to call the police because one of the umpire threw out a parent for making a bad call. He was arguing, whatever, being a nuisance. He goes out to the parking lot because the parking lot, one of the parking lots was behind center field in the big field. So he goes out there. I guess he parked out there and pulls out a gun. He's waving a gun in the outfield. There's a kid 15 fucking feet from you, dude. Like, you're waving a gun. There's kids on the field. So they clear the fields. The kids sprint into the dugouts there, and then behind the they're getting behind the dugout. As I said, they're these big metal slabs, so you can't really. I mean, if someone's going to start shooting, like, at least you're somewhat protected. I mean, we got behind the dugouts, everything. It was a really terrifying experience. Like, I didn't know what was going on. I didn't find this out till after the fact, but the parents saw it, and they call the police, they arrest the guy. But it's just like over youth sports, bro. Over youth sports, you're going to pull out a gun because your kid got rang up or got thrown, whatever it was. But that's the what I'm talking about, and that's what comes to this. It's like all of this over youth sports, over a select tournament game. Guys, we were 13 years old. Does this really matter? But that's kind of the thing. So there's a flip side. There's a really healthy balance of it, and there's a really good side of it, which I was grateful to experience and make great friends and make great memories and travel a lot of different places to play this game that we all love. And then you flip it to the other side, and there's shit like this happening, and you're like, man, if that's happening here, like, I mean, and then you get into a whole other argument of what's happening at this kid's home, what environment is he brought up around, and that's a whole other conversation I'm not even going to get to. I just wanted to show that story to show the two different extremes of this world of select baseball. Now, excuse me. So all in all, do I think that travel ball, travel sports is killing American families? Subjective for me, no, it didn't. It didn't. I had a great time. I know a lot of people had a great time. Does it have the potential to? Absolutely. I think, and this is something I say till the day I die. I think volleyball tournaments. My sister played club volleyball for years. There's nothing I hated more than going to select volleyball tournaments. I hated them. I loathed them. I would rather lay under I-10 for 8 hours with just sitting there with a bag of chips or something, watching people, than going to a select volleyball tournament. And I mean that because I don't know what it is. I don't know what the issues are. I can't. So they have to get there early. They got to ref their own fucking games. I'm not about it. I'm not about it. Can that ruin life? Absolutely. I'm just being dramatic, right? But like, some of these things are kind of insane. I think volleyball tournaments are absolutely outrageous what they do to those little girls, man. Like, that is too much. You got girls getting to the freaking court. I remember there was times we had to leave. We were leaving the house at like freaking, this was before I could drive, obviously. So my sister was way younger. I was like maybe 14, 15. And my brother got it way worse because there were some times where I'd be like, I'm gonna go hang out with my friends who was a little bit older. I'm not going to that tournament. Maybe I'll stay home by myself and just watch TV all day. I could get out of it. My brother could never get out of it, so I feel his pain. But like, they'd get to the fucking court at 5 o'clock, 5 in the morning. Like they're there at 5, getting loose. Games start at like 7, but they have to do all this. They're girls, so they're a little bit more dramatic, I guess. So they go and they're there fucking really early, and sometimes they're there till like 10 o'clock at night. And some of these girls are 10 years old. I'm like, that's a lot. So can it tax the kid? Absolutely. And I'm using a different sport, obviously, because baseball, I think the earliest I ever had to get to a field for baseball was like 6:30 because we had, if you suck on Saturdays, you got the 7, 8 a.m. game on Sunday. That sucks. But like, it's still not that bad. I guess maybe because I loved it, it was different. But I mean, maybe if you love volleyball that much, it's not that big a deal. I just can't imagine a 10-year-old loving it that much. But anyway, is it killing American families? I don't think so. I really don't think so. I think it depends on the environment you're brought up in, and more than just the fact of the sport itself. Now, can you overdo it? Whoa. It's kind of intertwined in that, but at the same time, I think it's still a little bit different. So, can you overdo it? Absolutely, you can overdo it, man. I think, and this is, so like I said, I had great experiences, but I also had some experiences where I was like, man, I'd really like to do other things. And I say this with love, and I've told my mom this, and I've told my dad this, I've told a lot of people this. You know, I'm split on how on certain things, right? So I played, like I said, I think at one point it may have gotten to be too much. And I think as I got older, I think my parents finally realized, hey, like if he wants to do this more and more, it's going to have to be on him. I mean, because like I said, there was times I was playing year round. I was playing year round, playing year round, playing year round. But I was also playing year round, and then football season. I was playing football, and then on weekends, where I remember there's so many times Friday nights I'm playing football. Saturday morning we're at a tournament at 8 a.m. So it's like you don't get to go hang out with your friends after. We're not going to go to the dinners. We're going home, going to sleep. We got to drive to Dallas, ass crack at dawn. We got to leave at 5 o'clock. You got a seating game at 10 o'clock. We got to be there at 9, so we got to leave at 4, so we get there by 8, barring no traffic. Like I did that my whole life. I've done that my whole life. I think it was too. I think at times I loved it, and that's what it's like. I don't regret it. I have like thoughts like, well, what if I did it a little different? I don't. But at the same time, like I think I missed out on certain things. Like I didn't go to kids' parties. I didn't go to like certain stuff that was happening on Saturdays when I wasn't even here. Like, and even my friend Adam, we talk about this on a daily basis because it's always so funny. Like video games now, it's a joke between us. Like, because I Twitch stream, he Twitch streams. We just do it. It's kind of just for fun. Like, I'm not very good, but like, there's times where we sit down and we look at life because I always tell him about stuff that I find out here. And he's a certified strength and conditioning specialist, so he's still kind of somewhat delved in the world of sports. But he's kind of left a little bit. But he was another kid that grew up playing select baseball his whole life, traveling, doing the whole 9 yards that I did. Played in high school, wanted to play in college, got hurt, yada yada yada. Right. So we've been through the same journey together, which is why we're connected so well. And we're sitting talking the other day, and we're like, man, this kid's making a lot of money playing video games these days. Like we were playing against these kids sometimes. We look at him and we're just like, God, that kid's making a lot. He's got like 1 million subscribers just playing freaking Fortnite at 13, 14 years old. They got Fortnite practices now. They play on teams. It's like a whole thing, right? And we're sitting there laughing because I'm like, could you fucking imagine? Could you imagine telling your dad, "Hey, I'm not going to baseball practice today, Dad. I got Fortnite practice. I gotta play this video game. I gotta log 3 hours today in this video game because I gotta be good." And Dad would slap me upside the head. I play no damn video game. We're going to baseball practice. It's like stuff like that. It's just the world has changed so much, and I think the kids are a little bit better. But again, it comes down to the parents. Like, are they going to let the kids be kids? So my point I'm trying to make here, I keep rattling because there is so much entwined to this conversation. Like, um, can you overdo it? Absolutely. I think at times I might have overdone it. Like I've told my girlfriend the other day, like I missed out. Like I've always wanted to play guitar. I'm now 28, learning how to play the guitar, doing things that I think I might have missed trying when I was younger, just because baseball was pretty much all encompassing of my life. I was doing that all the time, as much as I possibly could, playing, practicing, learning. That a lot of times I missed out on stuff like, I've never been camping. I've never done certain things. Do I want to go camping? Fucking no, absolutely not. But there's certain things that people are like, you've never done that? And I'm like, no, I didn't. I didn't get to do that. I was doing this, or I was doing that, or I was out of town, or I was playing here, or I was doing this. So it hit or miss, yeah. But I think nowadays I see kids and they're playing on 3 different teams, playing 3 different sports. They're going to school. They're trying to hang out with their friends and have social lives because they're fucking 14 years old. Like, that's a lot for a kid to handle. And I've seen kids do it too much. And here's the thing. And I always, there comes a point in baseball, right? And I remember I one that stuck out to me when I was younger. We had a family friend of ours, a kid I played with, grew up playing with it. And at the time, he had a very healthy relationship with baseball and his family and all that. They still do. They have a really great family. And I remember when we graduated high school, because he went to a rival high school of mine, and I remember, his dad called my parents and was like, yeah, he doesn't want to play baseball anymore. It's sad, but he's done. He doesn't want to play anymore. He's going to play senior year, and that's it. And the kid's decision, parents respected it. The dad was sad. I mean, regardless if you went on to play or not, it's a part of your life. Like, you just play this. Like, we had all these experiences, everything for 10 plus years, and it's over. Like, I'm not going to get to go to do this. I'm not going to be at a baseball field all the time. So I get it. But at the same time, it's like, and I say this to say this, I've felt this. Every baseball player that's played beyond high school has felt this, and I guarantee they felt it. I guarantee they feel it at the pro level. It feels like a job, and I think that a lot of times, like, these kids are going through these things, and they're being put through practice, lesson, tournament, play. Don't be a kid. I need you to be an adult. We need to win. We need to play. We need to perform. And all of that, like, it's good for a kid, and it helps you grow, and it helps you develop as a human, as a man, as a woman, whatever. Those pressure situations and those moments help you become a better person, well-rounded, more developed, and more ready for life as it goes on. I really believe that's why sports are so important. But when you rob the kid of being a kid and all they know is play, perform, learn, play, perform, learn, go to school, play, perform, learn, go to, like, that starts to fuck them up. I promise you it does. I promise you it does. 1 second, guys. I promise you it does. And I think that, as we do more and more, I've seen kids do this. I've seen it. I've witnessed it. I've seen kids my brother's age who went through that same thing, and they don't want to play anymore. And I think that there's a fine line. There's a fine line between, obviously they're kids, so you need to guide them. You can't let them make all the decisions, and you need to find that happy median where it's like they're going to be dedicated, but then there's time for them to be a kid. There's time for them to be a kid, and I think that the more, and I felt this at times, because like I said, I think there was times we overdid it, and there was times it was really balanced. There's times we overdid it, there was times it was really balanced. And at the times that it was so overdone, I was playing every weekend. We had multiple practices. Like, I'm gassed, I'm tired, I'm 15 years old, and I'm just so mentally exhausted. Like, those are the times that drive you away. And like I said, there's a fine line you got to ride as a parent, and guiding your son or daughter is like, you're going. It's like, you need to find that medium, because you will make them hate it. You will make them hate it. And that is the last thing you want to do to somebody, is make them hate the game. And, you have the responsibility of that. Maybe they don't like it. They tried it. They don't like it. And that's a personal thing. That's fine. They come to that decision on their own. Maybe you didn't push them. Maybe they played a couple tournaments. They played one select season. You're like, yeah, they don't want to do this anymore. That's fine. They came to that decision. But like, there's a lot of parents that are like pushing it and pushing it and pushing it to the point where they did love it at one point, but it's so much that they just hate it. I don't want to do this anymore. It's taxing. It's exhausting. It's no longer fun. That happens when you overdo something. It's called fucking burnout. And kids are experiencing burnout at the youngest of ages because they're being pushed and pushed and pushed. Dude, let the kid play when he wants to play, but also give him a chance to be a fucking kid. And that's some things that I think I missed at some points. But at the same time, I said I don't regret it because I had a blast. But there's some kids that don't think like me, that aren't like me, that aren't like other kids, and they need that break. They need that mental break. I mean, you got kids that are playing from January to December and then reset the clock again. That's a lot. That's a lot, man. Like, I found that, I think I found the most when I was coaching these past couple years. There was a parent. This kid was really fucking good, man. He's still really good. I think he's got a bright future of baseball ahead of him. And I remember talking to his parents about the whole thing, and I was like, yeah, I'm always curious, like, because I was coaching middle school. I was coaching a Catholic middle school. So it's a mixed bag. You're going to have kids that are competitive, that play competitively on the outside. Then you're going to have the kids that are just doing this because they want to play school sports. Some don't cut it. I mean, some don't make it. Some do. But I was lucky enough to coach about 4 or 5 guys that were very, very competitive. And you could tell they were good. And they played outside. They played multiple teams, yada, yada. But there was one kid I thought he was, quite frankly, one of the better kids on the team. And I remember talking to his dad. I was like, well, where's he playing at? He's like, well, he's going to fill in here or there with X and so's team this weekend. And I was like, okay, so he's not playing select? I mean, he should be. I mean, he should be playing a little bit at least. And the dad was like, well, I think that if he's playing here and he's getting practice and reps every day, if I can fill him in the tournament, here and there, and then he plays in the summers, and then we take the fall off because he's a multi-sport athlete. He loves basketball. That's what we're going to do. And I sat there and I said, this kid has so much fucking talent. And I know you see it, Dad. I know you see it because everyone else sees it. And you have the self-awareness and the patience, I guess is the best way to put it, to know that I'm not going to tax my kid. I'm not going to tax him if he wants to play here and there. If he wants to play more, he'll tell me. But he's practicing every day at this school team. He's got great coaches. Like me and my buddy were coaching. We know the game. He's got great coaches. He's learning well. He's picking up good things here. Why am I going to tax him all week long with games on some of those days, mind you, and then put him in somewhere else as well? It's going to crush him. It's going to crush the kid, and then play summer, and then we're going in, and you got football, then you got basketball. We're also going to try to fit in some tournaments there. It's too much. So do I think there's a healthy median where kids can be competitive but also be kids, and like take the time to do activities and do things that make them happy that are outside the lines. I think that's so important. So short episode today, guys. Nothing too crazy. I just kind of wanted to hit on that because I think it's an important piece of the game, man. Like travel ball can be good, it can be bad, just like everything else. If you overdo something, it's not going to be beneficial for you. If you find the happy medium and you enjoy things and you perform and you play because you love it, because it's fun, because you're promoting positive experiences for these kids, you're going to create everlasting memories. They're never going to forget some of this shit. So if you're a parent, if you're a coach, just keep that in mind, man. Just keep that in mind. Create positive experiences. Keep the toxic shit away. You know, that's a big piece, man. Let the kids play. I don't think, but kind of going back to the main thing. Like, we're going to answer this one more time before we cut it. I don't think that, travel ball is killing American families. I think a lot of American families that I know that I've had the pleasure of meeting and playing with did a great job making it a really great experience for not only their kid but for their whole family, because a lot of them had siblings, and we all went and we did a lot of things together, and we were a big group, and it was fun. It was like this big extended group of family who went and did a bunch of cool shit while also playing baseball. So yeah, there's a good way to do it. You can make a family vacation out of it. You can make it a fun experience for every kid. It's not killing American families. That's outrageous. But it does depend on how you handle it, how you do it, what you do, what your looks are on it, all that stuff. It all goes into it. But if you do it right, it can be a really great experience for your kids and for your whole family. So thanks a lot for listening, guys. Like I said, we're coming up on a whole week. I wanted to do a couple short videos, but I'm thinking I might do some recaps over the weekend. I might do one or two here in a little bit, just to put some extra stuff out, because we had a pretty crazy day yesterday. John Sterling retiring. There's a lot of stuff happening in Major League Baseball, but there's also a lot of other mindset stuff I'm going to want to talk about this week. So we have a lot of cool shit coming. So super pumped. Be sure to check in daily on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, YouTube. We're going to have stuff, like I said, posted daily, shorts, YouTube. Follow, subscribe, like, whatever. Share it with your friends. Whatever you want to do to spread this page, it's greatly appreciated. We also have some potential sponsors coming in pretty quick. So a lot of good stuff coming, guys. A lot of good stuff. This thing's going to be a blast. So thanks for listening, and we'll be sure to catch you in the next one.